Hi everybody, I'm Mike Hoskins. I'm the CTO of Actian. Today I'm going to talk to you about relational database technology. Actian is really one of the pioneers, one of the giants in relational database technology, what we call SQL databases. If you go back to the beginning, to the birth of relational database technology, I can go back because, yes, I'm that old, I was there. In the late 70s, there was a wild west of different database technologies out there. And Cod and Date, a couple of scientists from IBM, proposed a new way to think about databases, what we today call relational database technology. And on top of that, they added a query language, really innovative, important idea, SQL, structured query language. So we call these relational databases or SQL databases, and they've gone on to take over the whole world. If you go to the very beginning, so Cod and Date kind of birthed that idea. The database tree, if you will, has two big trunks, kind of an early fissure there in two different directions. One was Cod and Date and DB2, and an at that time unknown young fellow named Larry Ellison sort of swooped in and said, hey, that's a really good idea, and if you, IBM, are not going to exploit it, I'm going to exploit it, and created, of course, what we now know today as Oracle, and ran with that whole direction. So you can kind of think of DB2 and Oracle as one branch of that tree. There was another branch of that database tree, and that came out of Berkeley, and a professor named Michael Stonebraker, a very legendary guy in the database space. In fact, he's still active in the software industry today. And he invented something called Ingres, and that was another one of the very early what became relational database technologies, and today what we know as SQL databases. Ingres is interesting because after he made Ingres, he made Postgres, a database that we still know out there quite a bit, PostgreSQL. And then that kind of evolved, that great branch of the tree evolved into Informix, a database that we knew, those of us who played in the industry for a while. That evolved into Sybase, another database that's still out there today. Sybase then, foolishly maybe, licensed their technology to Microsoft, and that became SQL Server. So pretty much the whole database industry that we know today was birthed there in the late 70s, early 80s, and those two great branches produce all of the technology we know. Well, that Ingres branch is interesting. Guess who owns Ingres today? Yes, Actian. And so that Ingres that's been shipped to tens of thousands of customers all over the world and powers amazing operational applications, that is our database product. We develop it, we support it, we improve it, we enhance it, and we work with it all around the world with all our customers. So we are absolute leaders in the relational database space, and we were there from the very beginning. It gets more interesting than that. Relational database technology is fairly old, frankly. It's getting to be 30 or 40 years old. It was invented to support operational systems, transactional systems, this kind of heavy baggage, transactional workloads. It's a row set technology, and that worked really well and still works wonderfully well for operational databases. In the 90s, we kind of started going towards data warehousing and BI and looking at analytic workloads where there's certain kinds of schemas. We want to iterate long-running queries over and over, and we use those baggage-heavy transactional row set databases for that, and they worked until they didn't. And we had some extended life with Teradata's and Netezzas and appliances. Barry Zane, a name that will come up in a minute, was one of the technical co-founders at Netezza, and saw clearly that we were running out of gas in the old system. Tried some Postgres on appliances, and that worked okay. But in 2005, people really kind of woke up and did it right, I think. And you had multiple projects that were born in 2005 that said, no, we have to rethink. If we're going to do analytic databases on massive big data workloads, we need something new. And what was born right then was not as a new idea. We had some things like Sybase IQ that did it before. But you could really say in 2005 we had new entries in the analytic database category that were analytic in their very essence. And I think the hallmark of that means columnar database technology. So no longer row set, baggage heavy transactional databases, but columnar analytic databases for those long running queries. Peter Bonch and his team in Holland invented a product called Vector and VectorWise based on the X100 engine. We bought that product and company. Barry Zane left Netezza, did it right with columnar software-only technology running on commodity hardware. We bought that company and own that technology. And then Michael Stonebraker, you remember that name, was inventing something equally cool in the MIT Boston corridor, and that ended up becoming Vertica, another very popular columnar analytic database. And my point is, this is what you need for the next generation of advanced heavy-duty analytic workloads. You need columnar analytic database technology. The performance advantage is so compelling and so permanent, in my point of view, that it pushes operational databases into the legacy category for analytic workloads. And so that's what's going on in the space right now. It's very exciting. And guess who's right in the middle of it again? Actian Corporation. So whether you're talking traditional operational databases, where we've been doing it all over the world for thousands of customers for 30 plus years with those shipments, or whether you're talking the most advanced, most important next generation columnar analytic database technology running natively in Hadoop, for example, again, it's Actian leading the way. So we have tremendous credentials. We're very proud of our history in SQL database technology.